Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate all your support. Shout out to the 19. Hope everybody's geared up for a fantastic weekend. Y'all know the drill by now. Quick favor, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube is wacky, uncensored, and unafraid. If you haven't checked out my Haley Van Lith video, please go check that out. It is kind of wild. We get real in that video. So I want to talk a little bit about Stephanie White. Yes, Stephanie White, but I'm going to remove Caitlin Clark from that equation for all the crazy people out there, for all the Stephanie White simps and cucks and all of that who just think it's delusional Caitlin Clark fans and it's because of Caitlin Clark and a blah, blah, woof, woof. Natasha Howard, you may have heard of her. Solid player. Came to the Fever last year. Now, she had some stretches, right? Ended up with the Commissioner's Cup MVP. But overall, not a great season for Natasha Howard. Definitely a step back from the previous season. And we cannot blame that to clashes with Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark only played 13 of the 44 regular season games. But now Natasha Howard has moved on from Stephanie White. And she is with another coach that, as much as I dislike her as a human being, man, go find my Aerial Powers Cheryl Reeve video from the 2024 All-Star game if you want to see some absolutely unlikable crazy when it comes to Cheryl Reeve. But we have this now. Let's just take a look. It's early in the season. I get it. But Natasha Howard last year averaged 11.4 points per game for the Indiana Fever. She is averaging 17.7 points per game for the Minnesota Lynx. She is an early leader to make the All-Star team this season. Yes, you heard me correct. She is shooting 67% from the field. 67% from the field, 69% from two. She doesn't shoot a whole lot of threes, which is good for her. 0.3 threes a game. You know, her rebounding is up. She's averaging 8.3 rebounds a game. She is those all-star teams that Aaliyah Boston made previously to this. Natasha Howard is doing those kind of rebounding numbers. She is putting up in year 4012. No, just kidding. What is it? 13, year 14 for Natasha Howard. She is putting up better numbers across the board and not playing center than Aaliyah Boston has been putting up in her early all-star career with the Indiana Fever, in her early all-WNBA team for the Indiana Fever. And Natasha Howard is crushing those numbers. Man, she's averaging 4 offensive rebounds a game, 8.3 rebounds a game total, 4 assists per game total, 1.5 last year for the Indiana Fever. 17.7 points versus 11.4 points. She looks like a completely different player compared to the player who was handcuffed by Stephanie White last season in that unimaginative, predictable offense that Alyssa Thomas herself said when the Fever went and got BTA against the Phoenix Mercury. Alyssa Thomas, in this case, was brave enough to speak the truth and say, we know what's coming. We know she's never changing anything. It's a predictable offense. It's a boring offense. We know exactly what they're going to do before they even do it. Makes it very easy to shut them down. Now, this is relevant also because of the timing. Veronica Burton, who had quite the game last night against the Indiana Fever, and Caitlin Clark to the point of 25 points, 7 of 13 from the field. 25 points on 13 shots is crazy. But she was 7 of 13 in only 29 minutes, 10 of 8, now 10 of 12. Now, we won't get into all the free throw nonsense, but even setting that aside, Veronica Burton still had a very, very good game, added 6 boards, 3 assists, a steal, 5 blocks, 25 points, and only 1 turnover. Now, she came to Golden State last year. It's her second season with Golden State expansion team, played all 44 games, started all 44 games. Okay, had a very, very solid season, averaging 12 points a game, finished 9th. She was a top 10 MVP getter. Second second team all defense. She won the most improved player of the award last year. Now she's actually improved those numbers this season compared to last year. And like Natasha Howard, we are talking about probably an all-star. She's up those points from 11.9 last year to 15.9 this year. She's averaging, adding some rebounds to that as well, has 5.9 assists per game, a steal, a block. Oh, by the way, where was she in 2024 before she had these two fantastic seasons in Golden State? Oh, she was on Stephanie White's team, where I think, let me make sure I have this right. I think she started one game. I think she started one game. Sorry about that. I couldn't find the scroll. Yeah, she started one game in 2024. Played only 12 minutes a game as compared to 29 last year and 29 this year. Averaged 3.1 points per game. Right, shot 36% from the field. So she went from 3.1 points per game, starting one game in 2024, to starting every game the next year, averaging 11.9, finishing a top 10 in voting, winning most improved player, all WNBA second team defense, and she's even improved on those numbers this year. And at this point, very, very, very much deserving of an all-star berth. So we have two players who were with Stephanie White. They were freed. They were free to go fly, and that is exactly what they have been doing. And I just want to finish up with one other one. Now, I've been thinking about doing a more in-depth video on this with some film as well to break stuff down from what I'm seeing. But that, of course, we cannot not talk about Olivia Miles. Olivia Miles, and I think I said this after like the first two games, maybe. I was like, oh, she's rookie of the year. It is hers to lose. And not only was she putting up numbers as a rookie coming right into a Cheryl Reeve Minnesota Lynx team with high expectations, she was doing so in maybe the only truly exciting player I have seen other than Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. Compare and contrast to what Caitlin Clark has had to deal with Stephanie White, where Cheryl Reeve says, this is what I have in Olivia Miles, and I'm going to let Olivia Miles be Olivia Miles, right? To the tune of what she's doing so far. 15.1 points per game in 7 games, 5 rebounds, 5.9 assists. The only thing she's struggling with right now, by the way, shooting over 90% from the free throw line, 47.5% field goal percentage. She's not a good three-point shooter. Not a good three-point shooter, but she doesn't take a lot either. Right? I think she's made like a couple this season. So she's got to work on that and add that to her game. But guys, come on, ladies. The 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists per game thing through the first 7 games, they are, I'm not getting crazy, okay? They're not the same player in the same universe. But those numbers in terms of points, assists, rebounds for a point guard are very Caitlin Clark-like to the start of her season. But here's my question to you, and I know it's not provable, but based on what you have seen with Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White and what we just talked about with Natasha Howard and Veronica Burton, do you think you see this if Olivia Miles was playing for Stephanie White? My question, even more so, based on what we know of Stephanie White, would you see Olivia Miles even playing? Because we all know how Stephanie White feels about rookies and young players. I mean, we're even seeing that now. Raven Johnson was great last night, but if you look at what we thought after the preseason and then the minutes Raven Johnson has been playing, not nearly as many as what a lot of people would think. So once again, just another example of the impact coaches can have on players when they learn to let their players play free and they put them in positions to be successful. That is the sign of a great coach, is understanding your players' strengths and then putting them in a position to be successful. Whereas Stephanie White looks at Caitlin Clark's strengths and takes them away from her based on the insane, illogical, unreasonable rationale that, well, the other team wants to take those away. They know they're coming, so we're just going to take them away first. What? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, appreciate you checking out the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. I will talk to you later.